Hey, welcome to Elite Paranormal Society. I'm Robert. This is
Janie.
So just give a minute for everybody to go ahead and jump on here. Hey, we're live. Check it out.
Should have followed that.
Today we are going to be doing a live interview with our team medium, Janie. So we can go over some questions that we have. A lot of people ask a lot of questions about it. Sherry, thanks for being on. Sue, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate that.
Hi, Sherry. Hi, Sue.
Just going to give everybody else a minute or two to jump on. Freddie, thanks for being on, buddy.
Hey, Freddie.
Sandy.
Hi, Sandy. Everybody has to look over my voice. I have a really bad respiratory infection, so I sound like Kermit.
Make her talk as much as you can because it's so funny right now.
No, it's not.
Sheila, what's up? Susan.
Hi, Sheila.
Well, we are just letting everybody else jump on. Jennifer, thanks for jumping on with us as well. Appreciate that. Kenneth, awesome. Glad to have you on, buddy. Henny.
Hi, Henny.
Sue, thank you as well. Again, today we're going to go ahead and actually do an interview with Janie. Kind of been long overdue as far as doing an interview with her. She is a medium. She is a fantastic medium. She is our team medium. So if you guys have questions, I definitely want you to feel free to go ahead and throw up any questions you have up there. It's perfectly fine. Her voice is going to go in and out a little bit. We're going to try to make her sound like Kermit the Frog before we're finished. She's not too far from it. It should be interesting. So let's start with the first question I have offhand. Seriously, how long at what age did you finally realize that you were different? You had some type of gifts or abilities, probably not called that at the time?
I was 9, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was a gift. I didn't know it was an ability. I just knew I saw strange people in my room at nighttime that I didn't know, that I'd never seen before. And no one else could see them.
At 9 years old?
At 9.
Elizabeth, Mary, thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. This is very casual. It's interactive. So if you guys have questions, feel free to post your questions. I'll be trying to get to them as we go through. We want to definitely go ahead. I'm sorry. Do you still have? Yes. Yes. My hair is real. I did not get mine shaved off. That will not happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would never happen with that one.
My wife is on. Lisa, thanks for jumping on.
Hi, Lisa.
Not sure how many beers she had yet. It could be a very interesting show. See, she likes your hair too. So you always wear it up in a ponytail.
Lisa, it's burning me up. I can't wait to get it back up in a clip.
The neat part is when we've been at several locations where she does usually wear it in a ponytail and she has a clip or some type of rubber band or something holding it. And multiple times while we were live, her hair would get smacked and the clip would come flying out or the rubber band would end up hanging off to the side if it didn't come all the way out. It's been pretty neat.
I try to wear it in a ponytail anytime we go on investigations. That way my neck is always clear if I'm scratched or if I'm touched. And the ponytail is a good indication of when I get my hair, because I get my hair pulled a lot, apparently.
Come on, you never get scratched.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Paul Jackson, thanks for being on. Christina, thank you so much.
Hi, guys.
Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. What has been the worst, since you've been a medium, since you've actually been really using your gifts as far as you've been with other teams, what has been your worst experience as a medium?
The temple.
Which in particular?
A couple of things. The demon upstairs in that dressing room area, and whatever that was in the kitchen. And I don't know what that was.
But you have to kind of explain, what did you see or feel in the kitchen? Because they were not there, so.
It was like a nightmare. I could see it, and I could see it as a dark form. And when I say dark, I mean dark. It was blacker than black. But it was just a form. But it was a form that gave off a feeling of absolute terror. Such terror that it made me feel sick to my stomach. I actually threw up a couple of different times when we were there.
Yep. Actually, you avoided the kitchen after that for a long time.
Absolutely, didn't go back. And then there was another time when we went to the firehouse. I think it was Engine 1
across the street.
In the basement.
Yes.
I don't know what that thing was. I have never seen anything like that before in my life. I hope I never see anything like that again. But that was creepy. That was the most horrible thing I ever saw. I've never even had a nightmare with anything that bad. It was bad.
Jennifer was asking, have you ever had really bad vibes from anyone that you just knew you had to avoid them?
Yep. We took her off the team, actually.
Gotcha. Sabrina, thank you for being on. Becky, same thing. Thank you for jumping on with us. We appreciate it.
Hi, guys.
Again, for anybody who's just joining us, you're more than welcome to go ahead and ask any questions you want. Just be respectful. This is Janie, our team medium. She will go ahead and kind of be giving some insight what it's been for her. That's what we're here to actually try to find out.
Please ask whatever you want. If I can answer, I will. I know it's different for everybody that has abilities, but I can answer it for you from my perspective of how I get it.
Susan was talking about where she feels so much, but she doesn't know when to trust it. How do you learn how to trust what you're getting?
You have to trust everything you get. You have to have complete and utter blind faith.
Geneva, thanks for being on with us. We appreciate that. Lisa was talking about the same thing. She ran into, as far as at the temple. Lisa's my wife. She had some experiences at the temple. And
Lisa also has some abilities.
It felt like it was going to suck the life literally out of you if you stayed around it. So that was what caused so much terror.
Yep.
TSS Paranormal Investigators. Sabrina, thank you very much for throwing that up there. You can put your link. If you have a team, if you want to put your link up there on our page, you're more than welcome to. Right now in the comments, help yourself. Geneva, I'm really wanting to learn how to use my skills and help others. What's the first step?
Meditation. That's the key. Meditation. For me, when I was a kid, I'm old, so when I was younger, it was something that you just didn't talk about. So I was told, I believe that you can see these things, but don't tell anybody. So for years, I suppressed my abilities. I didn't tell anybody except for my mom, and she would say, don't you dare tell anybody else. They'll think you're crazy. Even though she believed me because she could see things also. Later on, as I got older and realized that I am going to be crazy if I keep trying to suppress this, I need to learn how to use these abilities. I read everything I could get my hands on. I went to seminars. I spoke with other psychics, other mediums. I took classes to learn to meditate, all that kind of stuff. Meditation is the key. If you can learn a good, and there are lots of forms of meditation out there. All of them are different, and pick one that is comfortable for you. Once you learn to meditate and calm your mind, it becomes so much easier to open your channel and pick things up more clearly. But then trust what you pick up. Don't ever second guess it. Don't try to explain it off in your head yourself.
Quick question. Well, not really a question, more so a statement. What would you tell anybody who wants to open up? What's some warning you would give to them about the initial?
Let it happen as it happens. Don't try to force it. Don't try to make yourself be able to pick up stuff. Don't try to open up anything if you haven't had some kind of training, even if it's just by watching videos of other people explaining how they do it, for you to try different methods. Don't try to open something if you're not sure how to use it, because it's just like a Ouija board. Everything and anything can come in. And once that starts happening, if you don't know how to open and close properly, it keeps coming in. That's horrible. It took me forever to learn how to open and close
that's the
my
point
channel.
I wanted to make sure people understood is just even once you get it open doesn't necessarily mean you can put the lid right back on the box.
Exactly, and it'll make you feel schizophrenic. It'll make you feel that way. It's even hard to go about your daily routine because the voices in your head won't stop. But once you learn to close, then it's closed. It's like hanging up a phone. I'm done with that for now. I'm free to do my daily routine. But make sure that you pick a form of meditation for you, because that will help you to learn how to open and close. Because if you can learn how to meditate and open your mind, then it also teaches you how to close the mind when the meditation is over.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Have you ever felt ridiculous or stupid or anything about your gifts, like to approach somebody? Have you ever been embarrassed or anything?
Every day, all the time, all the time. You have been with me in cases where I've had to tell people some pretty messed up stuff.
Yes.
Stuff that they didn't even know. They would have to go and find out from family members. It doesn't matter how crazy it sounds. Doesn't matter how ridiculous it sounds. Doesn't matter how personal it may be. You have to give what you get.
If you don't,
it won't leave. It stays with you.
Okay.
It will stay with you.
How did your family handle your abilities when you were so young?
Oh, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't. You get used to being called a liar, or it's your imagination, or you're just making that up for attention. until you start telling them things about dead relatives that you've never met, never knew about.
Isn't
And
that
then they
kind of
just kind of ignore it.
That's kind of a key, though, that for the real young, when you start noticing, when they start telling you details about loved ones that they've never known when they were alive,
Yep.
it kind of is a pretty quick indicator.
Yeah, don't ignore that and never dumb them down. If you don't want to encourage it and you want it to progress naturally on its own, which is the best way to do it, because then they get it when they're supposed to get it and as they're supposed to get it. But if you dumb them down by telling them it's their imagination, or it was just a dream, or it was just a nightmare, or it's just your imaginary friend, believe me, it's only going to cause them issues later in life when it starts coming in stronger on its own, and now they're really worried they have a physical or mental disorder because they don't understand what's going on.
And which, unfortunately, it does happen where
It
that
does.
can be misdiagnosed, whereas somebody can think, hey, here's a point of mental illness. Used to be 15, 20 years ago, you went to the little
Believe me, I know. That's what I was
room.
told. If you tell anybody, they'll take you to the nut house.
Happened a lot. Happened
Yes,
to
it
a
did.
lot of people.
Yes,
And
it
now,
did.
you know, people that used to say they would hear voices, of course, they get locked up. And now it's fortunately from the TV shows. This is one of the positives from TV shows. We bash the TV shows a lot, but they are the ones that actually
Yep.
open up. There's a few of them
Absolutely.
that actually open up this field for us to be able to talk about it.
Absolutely.
And now for you that are, any of you guys that are having abilities and finding yourself in situations, fortunately now you can start reaching out and talking to
Yep.
people, and that's very, very important. So even for the kids now, it's going to be that much more. Let them learn it as they come on.
Absolutely.
It's because they can't really talk about it in school without the other kids giving them a
Write
hard
down
time.
everything they tell you. You can figure out for yourself if what they're telling you is a dream or their imagination just by writing it down. If you write it down and keep a journal of it for a period of time and then read back over it later, you'll know if it's a reoccurring thing that they're saying or if there are things that link together. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It'll help you to understand if this may be an ability or if this just may be a child with a really strong imagination.
True. That's, again, there's not a cut and dry way.
Right,
Right
exactly.
across.
Exactly.
Catherine from Newcastle, UK. Appreciate you being on with us.
Hi, Catherine.
Sabrina wanted to know, she says, when she tries to push spirits away from talking to her, her neck hurts really bad. Do you know if that means anything in particular?
No, that's just, you're probably pushing too hard. Usually if you ask, or for me anyway, I can't say you, everybody is different. Believe me when I tell you, there can be 50 million people, and probably are that many in this world that can do this. Every one of them will be different. Or that's been my experience anyway. Usually I ask my guides to do it for me. That way I'm not using my energy to do it. And everybody that can do this has a guide. Every person in this world has a guide.
Even though they don't feel like they've seen it, seen them or met them, they have a guide there.
Absolutely. Some people call them guardian angels. Some people call them loved ones that are watching over them. I call it my guide.
Do you believe that's where you get your information from?
Yes, I know it is.
So it's more so learning to trust your source of information is what starts building up your confidence. And one of the real simple targets you can do is, obviously for somebody starting out, is to write it down, and every time you get it right, write confirm on it, and that will actually build up your confidence.
Yep, it sure will. And it's, for me, it's the guide when I'm giving, if I'm giving a personal read for someone about something personal, such as an illness or someone that's about to pass over in their family, the guide is giving me the information. There are other circumstances where when we're on investigations, I can see and hear the spirit themselves. I don't have to get that information from the guide. So
yeah, I've watched you actually have that one-on-one conversation, yes. Right?
Yes.
So we've definitely had that.
It's it's a little different, but yeah, tell your guide, ask your guide, take them away, help me to close my channel. I'm done for the day, and they'll help you. You have to trust that they will.
Gloria, thanks for being on with us. We appreciate that very much. Anybody that's joining us, we definitely appreciate. Jennifer wanted to know, have you ever worked on your third eye? Can you explain, or you want me to explain, can you explain what the third eye is for people that do not have abilities, that are kind of looking
I'm
like,
going to be honest with everybody. I didn't know what a third eye was until I met Rob. I just knew I could see and hear these things, sometimes in real time and in human form, and sometimes I could just hear it in my ears. So it wasn't, to me, I didn't know, you're using a third eye to do that. Like, for instance, there are sometimes when we go on investigation, and we've done this before when we went with Gilson to that field, I could look at a location, and if it's something that happened, say 100 years ago, All I have to do is look over the area and say to myself, I want to see it in the time that the spirit that I'm speaking with lived.
Right.
And everything goes black and white. And if it's that far off, everything will go black and white. And I see the landscape the way it was then. That, I'm told, is when you're seeing something through your third eye. I never knew that's what it was called. I just assumed I was being able to have the visions. I don't know. But for me, after research and years of study and being with you, God help me, for the past 5 years, your third eye is actually a different level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different level of consciousness that you can, when you learn how to control that. And it's hard to do. Believe me, I'm 54 years old. It's taken me since I was 9 to learn how to control this as good as I do, and that's not as good as I should. But you see things on a different level, in a different plane almost.
Molly asked a question. Have you ever been unsure about what you pick up?
Oh, yeah.
Great question.
I say it all the time. I say, Rob, this makes absolutely no sense. I have no idea what this means, but this is what I get.
We let clients know anytime we're going to go anywhere that Janie's going to be at, or if we have other people with abilities that are going to be watching, we tell the clients, always write down the information, because she has no idea who you know offhand. So when she gets a name in particular, that makes absolutely no sense to her. She'll get sayings, people that have a particular phrase they like to use, all of a sudden will come
Or the
through.
lady that we went to, and I was told immediately to go up to her, and I was even shown how I was supposed to do it. Stop it. I felt like an idiot doing that to that poor little lady.
But it was right in her face to say, stop it.
I had to do it, exactly.
But she knew what that meant right away.
She knew.
She had been having dreams with her son who had passed, and it wasn't his normal personality to her, and he would come up to her and get right in her face and be, stop it. And the whole point was, he was saying, stop being depressed about me leaving, start living your life. It's not your time. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm trying to give you signs. So that's been a big...
And I had no idea what that meant, but I knew I had to do it. And I did it, and immediately she knew what it meant, and everything went into place like it should. So always trust what you get, even if it sounds ridiculous to you, just put it out there.
How did you learn to trust as far as decipher between imagination and actual abilities?
Because I have no imagination. No, the difference is you hear it in your head as though there's a phone up to your ear. I can hear spirit, and sometimes if the spirit is really strong, if their energy is really strong, I can see them and hear them as well as I see and hear you sitting here right now.
Yeah, because you freaked out on us a couple times.
Oh,
I can't believe you don't hear them.
Yeah, but you just get that feeling. You'll know. Just learn to trust your abilities and trust your guides and go with it. Believe me, you'll learn to, the same way you learn when you have an infant, for instance. A mother knows what her infant's cry means. She knows if that's a cry because it's wet. She knows if that's a cry because it's hungry. She knows if that's a cry because it just wants to be held. She knows if that's a cry because something hurts. Yep. It's the same way with your abilities. After you do it for a while, you become very attuned to what every energy level feels like, and you know what each one means. And same with spirit. You'll become very attuned to which ones are stronger, which for me, I get the pull. It almost feels as though someone has a hold of my skin on the front and they're pulling me.
I know, I've experienced that when we've gone taking off through the woods and briars and everything else, when you get that pull.
But you eventually over time, and it takes practice. It takes just doing it and trusting it, and you'll learn which ones are which, you know what I mean?
Just to catch right back up, guys, my name is Robert. I'm the founder of the team for Elite Paranormal Society.
I'm Janie. I'm the medium on the team.
So this is an open forum where you guys can ask questions. Again, anybody who was worried about missing anything, you really haven't. Feel free to review this when you get done with it. There's a lot of really good information. If you know somebody who has abilities, if you've been curious whether or not abilities are real, I work with it. I have no abilities. I work with a lot of people with abilities, and it's amazing to actually be able to watch. We've had numerous clients that have been able to see it firsthand.
Absolutely.
We do live ghost hunts, paranormal investigations. We'll have people tuning in from all over the world, and they will start telling details, specific details, and the clients will just be dumbfounded watching these absolute details that are absolutely dead accurate about their life coming out to play right in front of them.
Absolutely. And I can remember times, many right off the top of my head, where we've turned complete skeptics into believers just because they got information that they knew myself or Rob could have not had.
I'm using right now, we're not always, it looks like we're in a daze. We're looking past the camera. We've got a monitor behind the camera so we can watch questions up there. I'm watching them on the computer right now. Janie does not like doing live. It's not her cup of tea. She just
really
prefers doing her thing as far as when she goes to a house and is able to go read it. So this is all very new to her as well. So just bear with us. We appreciate it very much. I'll be catching up to a couple more questions real quick. I'm just trying to skim through right now. And if I miss your question and it's been 5 or 10 minutes, then please hit us back. I don't mean to miss any questions. We are trying to get to as many as possible. Were your guides an actual living person before?
No.
They were not a living person?
No, they were not. I have asked that. I've asked that of my guides. Were you ever here in physical form? And mine weren't. I can't speak for everybody's, but they've always told me no. I have 2, and they've always said that they've never been here in living form. That their only job is to be a guide, and not just for me. They guide other people also, but those are the ones.
So guides don't stick to only just one person.
Just one person. No. A guide can have several different people that they're guiding.
Becky had a question. She was talking about it on a camera. She sees so many orbs, red cardinals, and when she wakes up, it's usually 333 or 111 on the clock. What does that mean? Any idea?
I can remember as a kid my grandma telling me that a cardinal is a loved one coming to visit. I do believe loved ones can come back in the form of animals if they want to. Excuse me, my voice is horrible. The 111 and the 333, I'm not sure about. The last time I experienced 333, it was demonic, so I don't mess with the bad mojo stuff.
Tom, thanks for being on. Shelly, thank you so much for being on as well. I don't see things, but I feel things. That's another really good point that you just brought up, Shelly, is a lot of, even mediums, not all mediums get it the same way.
Exactly.
Psychics are mediums.
Exactly.
Some are all vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I know one in particular where depending on the vibration is high or low is whether or not it's younger or older.
Yep.
If it's on the right, it's male. If it's on the left, it's female. Yep. And if it's on the back side, it means one step back.
For me, it's balance. If I'm picking up a loved one for someone, if it's back one, if I feel like I'm falling backwards but leaning to the right, that's always the mother's side. If I feel like I'm falling backwards and I'm leaning to the left a little, it's the father's side.
Not too much.
Not enough when I'm around him.
I know something's going to happen before it can happen. Can you tell me when or what? It drives me crazy. Premonitions. People, that's another ability. People have premonitions.
You know, I have to honestly say the strongest premonitions for me are always investigations. Sometimes even before we know they're coming, I'll start picking up stuff and I immediately know this has to be something we're getting ready to do because it'll just keep coming. And I'll start texting you, Rob, I don't know if you got anything coming up, but I'm getting this, because I just start getting it out of the blue. As far as premonitions for people, I've only ever got that one time, and that was when I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and I visited the cancer center daily while we were there. There was this guy that kept coming in with his wife, and I had never spoken to him other than to say hi in the hallway or whatever, but I did. I had several dreams in a row, and actually several awake visions in a row of this particular man going through chemo. Wasn't him that he was there for, it was his wife. But it was so strong that I had to go say to him, you know, I'm a medium and this is what I've been getting, and I really think you should have the doctors check you out. And as it turned out, he had colon cancer, but they caught it in time. So.
There's been numerous that we've been involved with where you've given warnings,
Yep.
or other people that have been with us have given actual viewers warnings,
Yep.
to go get something checked out. And sure enough,
Yep.
you know, we call it full circle because it's amazing that, you know, somebody decides, hey, you know what, I'm going to check this show out. And they just happen, or somebody tells them, hey, jump on this, watch this.
Everything happens.
By the time you get done, there's an actual reason, and their issue gets solved somehow or another. Yep. It's amazing to watch.
It's the domino effect.
Yep. Amber want to say, hey, glad you're on, and congratulations, she just had a baby.
Well, congratulations, and welcome to Never Sleeping Again.
Again, I'm just going right through. With abilities, start with, there's tons of clairvoyance, declare everything. There's so many different types of abilities out there, different names. We kind of put it on a slide ruler. If you have pretty much the mutt crowd over here, what we call average, normal, whatever, who you can see an apparition.
Right.
You can have the phantom smell.
Yep.
You're not picking it up consistently or anything like that. That's kind of the first step where pretty much everybody's at. Everybody has the ability to increase or learn to trust what they're getting. Most of us just kind of washed it off because when we were young.
Everybody has the ability to do this. It's just a matter of learning to do it. And if you were one of those people, like I was for years, who was dumbed down, then chances are you've learned to shut it out a whole lot easier than you can open it. So it may take a while, but everybody has the ability. Some people call it their gut. Some people call it their
the gut instinct.
Their gut instinct, whatever. But everybody has the ability to at least feel things.
Sandy, thanks for being on.
Hi, Sandy.
I missed somebody's. Can you answer my question about guides? Susan, throw your question up again real quick as far as about which, I thought we hit that one. So if we didn't, ask that question again, please. I apologize if we missed it. Heather, thanks for being on. So if you take where we start at, typically the first real ability somebody's going to have is becoming empathic.
Right.
Being able to be an empath, and basically you're feeling.
You'll have feelings that you can't explain, and you know they're not yours. You may be in a crowded room and at a party, and all of a sudden you feel really sad. Chances are that's not yours. That's someone that's at that party that is either going through something or has been through something, or they're really depressed or whatever. You're picking up on their feelings. But that's the most common one, and just about everybody can pick that up, can pick those up.
So a lot of people will have that. A lot of times, unfortunately, and especially in arguments, if you find yourself, you typically, out of the smallest little thing, you become very annoyed in your argument with your partner or the other person you're dealing with. A lot of times you're actually picking up on your partner's frustration, and it comes back to you basically threefold. Now all of a sudden you're that much more upset about something that's really silly.
That was a biggie for me because I could pick it up so fast and so strong. I had to train myself to keep it on an even keel. This isn't mine, this is his, because I'm messing up. You already know I would.
If you're having, right now we're just doing a general discussion. If you're looking for something as far as you having an issue at your house or anything like that, you're more than welcome to message our page. It doesn't go out to everybody. Just send us a private message. We'll definitely go ahead and help you get somebody to get in contact with. One of the things I am going to go ahead and mention is you're going to start doing reads also.
Yes, for a fee.
Right, you're going to start doing, but wow, it's not a really big fee.
No, it won't be a big fee. It's a fee to help us to cover expense for travel. We do live like 2.5 hours away from where you guys are stationed in Keysville. And I really want to start to do more investigations with you, and in order to cover that cost, small fee, but
she's going to start doing $25 reads. That's how much the cost is for it, and we'll end up doing something through PayPal or whatever.
Absolutely.
But if you are interested in a read, it would be over the phone, and we'll set that up. It's going to be mostly evening times.
Absolutely.
And weekends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So know that's coming. We've toyed about it a few times before, but we're going to get serious about, so we can shoot you to that point.
Absolutely. But when I'm with the team, it's still free. If we're ever on an investigation, whether it be a public hunt that we do where people come to investigate with us, it's always free when I'm with the team, unless in the future the team should start to charge, which is a real possibility because this can't stay free forever.
I don't think it will. Hopefully we'll be the last team to ever charge.
Right.
It is a service that we're doing by far, but fortunately that's the best part about it, because a lot of people don't have the extra, everybody's always worried when they get in touch with a medium or they get in touch with a team and they're like, how much is this really going to cost?
Right.
And it doesn't cost, like when we investigate, there's no cost.
No.
But when you're there and you do your reads or anything,
we're
taking care of the issue that's really at hand.
And if it's an issue with a child, if it's an issue with a child and it's a situation where your child's having a problem or you're frightened for what might be happening with your child, I don't care if you don't have a plug nickel. You hit me up, and if there's any way at all I can help, I always will. Always.
Real quick, Lisa just answered Sandy. She was asking how do you know who your guides are, or how do you know you have a guide? Everybody has guides. You were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Cheyenne saying hey to you. Janie, she hasn't been on for a little
Hi,
bit.
Cheyenne.
So appreciate you being on. Again, I'm just trying to fly through here and catch up a few real quick. Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate the backup very much.
Yeah, because I can't see that screen, honey, without my specs. You already know.
Can you have a guide that comes in? I mean, some people talk about their grandparents or others, loved ones.
Of course,
that come
absolutely.
in.
Loved ones can come through to help you too. I found with my experience that loved ones that like to hang around with you from the other side, if they know that you have the ability and you're not paying attention to your guides, or for whatever reason you're not picking up on your guides, because you have that connection with them from when they were here, so you share that love amongst each other. It's really strong, powerful energy there. I've found that they will step in and help to guide you. Yeah, absolutely.
Some people are asking, it's how do you know if you have abilities? And you have to be honest with yourself first and foremost.
Yeah.
We've done live and we stopped giving away addresses, not so much the personal address. We used to say what town or city we were in.
Right.
Because it was neat. We'd get people that were pretty local by, but we found out that certain people were going on, Wikipedia?
I have no idea.
Going online, and they were
illiterate.
looking them up as far as to try to look up the town and what's happening for it. And during the live, they're going right in order for what was actually listed.
Right.
And it was like, okay, now we just don't even tell what town we're in anymore.
Right.
You've got to be honest with
say
yourself.
we're in a different state.
We do say we're in different states. And again, number one is to protect the client.
The client, absolutely.
It's always protecting the client is number one by far, because that's what you're there to do. You're there to help the client.
Yeah.
So going back as far as to abilities, start with the first one. Watch for the empath is the very first original, where you're going to notice, especially where, like you say, it's usually going to be something on the downside where it's depression, you're crying, you're sitting there eating dinner, you know you're feeling fine, and next thing you know, it's the waterworks. You are bawling, you're crying.
Absolutely.
We've had some of our own teammates do the exact same thing. After you've been exposed to this field for a long time, you tend to pick up more and more on it. That's the first sign. And you can learn, for anybody who is dealing with that right now, trust me, we can get you right through it. You can definitely learn to cope with it. It's not an issue. And I've known people in the past that were absolute adults and could not even go to the mall, grocery store, because they would pick up from everybody around them. It was horrible for them. And now they can, of course, go to the mall and go shop and not worry about it nearly so much. It's always going to be there, but it will dim down once you mentally learn how to get over top of it.
Absolutely, because you learn how to control it.
Right.
You learn to control it.
Then you have people that can pick up and know things that, how do they know there's somebody here? You know there's a guide here, or you know there's a spirit here, but you might get bits and pieces.
Right.
That's what we consider as a sensitive. It's kind of like a slide rule. You're still gaining, you're still learning, but now you're in a sensitive. You're not a medium yet. A medium learns to trust where he or she is getting the information from. That's what gets them over to being an actual medium. They know they can trust their source. It's not that you're not ever going to question your source. You question the information because you want to make sure it doesn't pertain to this.
Exactly.
I've hit you with 2 and 3 different situations or investigations at the same time, and it's like, okay, which one applies to which?
Right.
But there's a piece of confirmation that comes through for you usually, and they go, okay, there you go. Yeah. So if Janie was giving you a read, you don't offer everything out in the front of it.
No,
okay,
not
that's not the way you want to do a read. And I'm being dead honest.
Yeah.
What you want to do is, if she hits on somebody, say, okay, there's a young man, he's a teenager, somebody was involved in a car accident. Now it's getting detailed. Okay, yes, somebody was in a car accident.
Yeah, just acknowledge
that's giving her
I'm on
confirmation
the right track.
but don't give any extra details.
Right.
Let her come through with them. And that goes for any medium. If you don't lead somebody, that's what you're looking for. You're looking at those confirmations. And
and I prefer it that way, because then I know I can trust what I'm picking up and not what I'm being told.
So that's what being a medium is about. That's where, getting the confirmation is fine so that you're still on the right track.
Yes.
But it's
because when we do an investigation, Rob won't even give me an address until the last minute. Sometimes he doesn't give me an address then. He'll say, meet me at my house and we'll go from there. But I'm never given any information, not about the client, not about the location. usually not until the day of, and then he'll hit me up and say, hey, meet me here or here. But I prefer it that way because then I know I can completely trust what I'm picking up.
I'm sorry. Yes, there is no white mist behind her. It is a vaporizer behind her. I apologize. I should have told you guys ahead of time. I didn't even think about it.
I didn't either.
Gilson is definitely continuing on his path as far as his abilities, but he's still in the early stages. And typically, while we're at an investigation, you're going to hear him say he sees a white mist or he sees something white in particular. He sees that a lot, nearly everywhere, and he'll hear things that we don't hear.
And that's usually the channel that I used to do that. That's usually the channel just starting to open.
There you go. But it's very consistent. The rest of us don't see it. It's okay. You're not a nut. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. For anybody that has abilities, you really need to understand there's nothing wrong with you. I mean, you'll have.
And there's new stuff that happens all the time. I mean, even after 40 plus years of doing this, I never knew and would have never guessed and would have never even tried to read from another state or from another or do a walkthrough with you via phone.
Right.
You know, I've never done that. I would have never thought I could do that. I would never even have had any reason whatsoever to have enough confidence to try that. But we've done that, and it's always turned out really well.
Yep.
So even after you get fairly good at it, which I consider myself to be fairly good at it, there's still always things you can do if you have to open your mind. You have to have such an open mind. Because until I met you, I would have never tried that. And then you said to me one time, have you ever tried to do a walk from where you live if you're not here, you know, from a different area? And I was like, no, I've never tried.
Clients have watched that happen, and it's been amazing to turn around and either have you live or have a text coming through at the same time.
Yeah.
Who sees somebody in a window? Who's looking at somebody in a window right now? And Gilson's hollering from the driveway, whose window is that? There's somebody in that window at the same time.
I would have never thought in a million years I could do that. Or the one location that you went to where I said, I can't be there this weekend. I had a couple of the grandchildren at the house. And Rob said, well, I really wish you could have been here to have at least done a walkthrough to tell me where the strongest energies were. And I would have never thought I could have walked you through that house or seen that. But immediately, as soon as I opened my channel and asked my guides to show me the house, I saw it in my head and I walked you through. I said, you're going to go through a hallway, you're going to take this door and that door. I would have never thought in a million years I could have done that. And it felt unreal for me when I was doing it, but apparently it worked.
So detailed. We had a location where you said somebody is going to feel real woozy right at a doorway. Mm-hmm. And I have it on my phone, but I don't share that information with my teammates. What I get from mediums or anybody, psychics, anybody with abilities, and I don't care what level you're at. If you think you're getting something, we ask for you to go ahead and give it to us because it could put us on the right track.
Absolutely.
All mediums and psychics are different from one another and can pick up on things from different times.
Absolutely.
By far. So I can have it on my phone, and then when somebody comes through with it, it's documented. It's right there.
Yeah.
And so when all of a sudden Gilson's by the doorway going, oh my gosh, this is a horrible feeling right here. I'm so woozy. I can turn around and pull it up on my phone and go, yeah, Janie already said you're going to experience that. So pretty cool to see.
Just trust your instinct, guys. Trust it. Go with it.
Should people use guided meditation?
You can. Some people do and do very well with it. Pick it, like I said, pick them. There are so many different ways to meditate out there. Find one that works for you. And by works for you, I mean find one that will completely relax you. You want to be completely relaxed. And when you find one that works, you'll know it because your mind will be so completely blank. If you think about this, when I say clear your mind,
right?
How many people are actually ever able to clear their mind? When you find a form of meditation that works for you, it will immediately hit you. Oh my God, I am literally not thinking about anything. You'll know that's the meditation for you.
Everybody worries about that so much starting out is I can never clear my mind enough. And the first and foremost is to slow down your environment because there's so many distractions already because it's going to be up here. This is where all the action's actually happening at.
Why usually when we go on investigations, I'm paying attention to what's here and I've blocked out everything around me.
We basically usually will go to a location, we'll have Janie go do a walkthrough. She doesn't hear anything, get anything. I don't tell her anything. And I want her, before even anybody else is walking through the house, we usually send Janie through the house, let her start doing her walkthrough so she feel whatever she's getting from anything, and then she'll come and tell me before there's nobody else gets told anything right off the top, because we want everybody to still be open for it.
Absolutely.
And then I can have things documented at that point, which works out a lot better.
Yep.
So.
And the same way you don't want contamination on a voice recorder, you don't want your medium or the rest of your team to be contaminated by what other people are feeling or picking up.
Right.
Because I have literally been at a seminar where there are 20, 30 other mediums and psychics, and every single last one of them pick up something completely different. She's okay, completely different, but for the same exact location. So you don't want to contaminate anybody's energy that's there.
I've noticed a few people, Heidi, thanks for being on. I've noticed a few people have talked about is where people refuse to read them. Is there a particular reason they would refuse to read somebody? Have you ever had anybody you would refuse to read?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of it. I don't know why they do it. I've never asked them to explain to me why they do it. I've given reads to people that I absolutely did not want to read because the stuff I was picking up was just horrific. It was without giving anything away about anybody's personal business, but it was a situation where the woman was had been molested as a child, and she had harbored that guilt with her for her entire life, and even as an adult, that guilt that she was carrying around was causing her to be a different person. It was causing her to be a different person as a mother, a different person as a wife, a different person as a sibling. And she had actually even contemplated suicide. And I got this read for her from this person that had already crossed over, but was the one who had perpetrated the cruelty on her when she was young. And I had to give it to her. And that was something that I absolutely did not want to say to that woman, because that's something that when that happens to someone, they usually want to put that in the back of their head. They don't ever want anybody to know about it. But I had to say it to her because I got it, and afterwards she felt better about it.
There's a reason for you
to bring it
out.
She felt better. She knew that, that it was okay to talk about it. It's not something that's your fault.
Sorry to interrupt you. Some people are wanting to know as far as for information, as far as getting in contact with you.
I am on Facebook.
If you simply message our page right here on the page you're on right now, if you simply go ahead and send a message to our page, we will give it straight to her. It doesn't go to anybody else. Nobody else is seeing any of your information. That's a very easy and direct one. I'm in touch with Janie all the time, so that's not an issue. You will get it directly.
Almost daily, so.
Yeah. You will definitely go ahead and have that information. Zara was asking, she's talking about, one thing you were bringing up, Zara, is that her and her daughters are all sensitive, or they all are empathic.
Oh, that's a lot of energy in one spot.
It's very common more common on the female side. Men can be as well by far, but generation to generation, it's very common to go down the female side.
Absolutely, because my mother could see dead people. My daughter has abilities. She refuses to use hers because it scares the bejesus out of her, but she does have abilities. I've found in my experience that it is more prevalent on the female side of the family. Not to say that it can't be on the male side too, but on the female side, it seems to be consistent with everybody that I've met.
It's much more likely to be female to female than anybody. And again, anybody can develop, but it's almost like they're already a step ahead on the female side. Talking about Zara, she says when her and her daughters go to the grocery store, it seems like they're always at each other's throat. What can they do so it won't be like that? It's awful. That it has to be.
Again, just try to constantly remind. I have to do it with my husband. I have to constantly remind myself that I get so frustrated sometimes because I'm picking up on I'm taking his energy.
Yeah.
That you just have to remind yourself, that's not mine. You keep that nasty mess. I'm not going to waste 1 minute of my time getting angry about something that don't belong to me.
Becky, I see something black on the right side of your window now. You bought this house, why?
Oh, I bought this house because I know there's spirit in it. The day we came with the realtor to walk through this house, I saw and communicated with 3 spirits. An older gentleman, a very old lady, and a young girl. And they are very, very much prevalent here in the home. We've had all kinds of activity here. My dog actually follows them through the house sometimes. So yeah, that's the reason I bought the place. They're all 3 good souls. I'm not trying to bother anybody. This is just, my home's 119 years old this year, so.
Just throwing our page link on right now, just so if anybody wants to, if you need to, you're more than welcome to go to it anytime you want. Click onto it and send her a message. It's perfectly fine. Sabrina, it looks like a general question. Do you work with kids? My son sees things, but I don't know if it's just his mind playing tricks.
I have before worked with children. The easiest way to do that, like I said, is to allow him to talk about it freely and keep a journal of the things that he says to you.
Zara, let me know if I got your question. I think I did just answer your question, so let me know if I missed it. Please let me know. Michael, thanks for jumping on with us as well. And again, this is Janie, this is our team medium. Anybody that's watched it live, you've seen some crazy stuff happening. Your favorite dowsing rods, you know how you love those so much.
I hate those.
It's been an amazing journey that we've had. Myself and you, we've done a lot of investigations. We've done a lot of just walks at houses between myself and you.
Absolutely.
And just the changes that happened. I put a post on the page yesterday because I wanted to thank people with abilities, because it doesn't start off as gifts for most people. Most people do not consider it a gift.
No, it's a catch-22. It is a gift and a curse at the same time. It is. It absolutely is. But again, with us, that just another form of proof of things happen for a reason. The domino effect, full circle. When I first met this team, I had absolutely no interest whatsoever in joining another team. None whatsoever. I thought, you know what, if I pick up something for people in the grocery store or wherever, I'll just give it to them. No interest whatsoever in joining another team and being their ghost hound. And a friend of mine, Miss Sherry, I worked with her. I got a job where she worked, and I immediately got a read for her the very first day we worked together. I had never met the lady before in my life. Coincidence. She said, you know, I'm a member of a paranormal team, and I would love for you to come meet my team.
And I'm so glad she did.
And I think after the very first night, well, not just the first night, because you still do. Rob tests me all the time. I'm okay with that.
I do.
I'm okay with that.
If, as an investigator, though, we cannot just take it for granted.
Right.
We still have to question. We still, even though we know it's real, you still have to keep some of your skepticism and challenge it.
And I appreciate that, because it does help to keep you humble.
But you don't get offended by it.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's a big deal for anybody who does have abilities. Number one, don't waste your time trying to convince somebody whether you have abilities or if it's real or anything else. I tell that to people all the time. You're wasting your time. If somebody is glued on being a skeptic all their life, you're not going to be able to change them, so why get an argument about it?
Exactly.
You have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Some people that have had abilities, and then they have being open. When you have abilities, it means that other people can come to you, spirits on the other side, not all good, sometimes bad.
Yeah.
But they basically know you can hear or see them, so they come knocking. They're the ones coming to you. You're not haunted. Your house is not always haunted. Sometimes it's the person not being haunted as they usually get described as, but it's because you have abilities and they know you can hear or see them, and they're trying to get you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can have attachments. Somebody was talking about that earlier, where they had an attachment for a very long time, and then once the attachment was removed, it was almost like part of them has been blocked. But it's not so much the blocking as how much you're scared about letting yourself fully open back up.
Exactly.
Being honest.
Exactly. And that's in your subconscious. You don't even realize that you're doing it.
So understand, you control a lot of this. Cheryl, if I didn't say hi, I want to say hi. Michael,
Hi.
Michael, I know you said you're in a wheelchair, but I hope that doesn't stop you. We have several viewers that are in wheelchair that aren't able to get out into the field. So when we do lives, there's some other teams, really good teams that do lives. That gives you your chance to get out there with us. Yep. And if you have a question, or you think you want somebody to try or ask a question for you, hey, be part of it. It's your choice to sit back or to be part of it.
Yep,
don't let a wheelchair stop you.
Absolutely.
If you haven't, then wonderful. Power to you.
Don't let anything stop you. Life's too short to let anything stop you from doing anything that makes you happy. As long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, go for it.
Casey, if you're around a battlefield, more than likely you probably do have some spirits going through. But again, it's if you have spirits, the number one, people always want to know, is my house haunted? It's not haunted unless there's something bad going on.
Right.
That's haunted. Does your house have activity?
Right.
That's really more so what it could be. We have a lot of clients
and that
live.
activity can range from residual
Yep.
to grandpa hanging around because he likes the new granddaughter or the new great-grandchild or whatever.
So it's just really important to understand. We have a lot of clients that live with ghosts, with spirits.
Every day.
And they're perfectly content with it. It's nothing bad. And a lot of you guys are the same way. I mean, there's a lot of people on here that I recognize that I know you guys live with very active houses. It is not all residual. It is stuff that can interact with you. And it's okay.
It is, absolutely.
For the most part, I have so many stories where people turn around and say, unfortunately, I lost my mom last week or last month. And I started coming down the stairs and I was like, oh my God, and sees their dead mother, or whatever, there, freaks the hell out. Sorry, but they do. Tears off. Your poor mom. How do you come back? Let's just hypothetically, let's say it's real. You don't believe, that's fine. Let's just say it's real, that you try to make a sign that you're here, coming back from the other side, going, hey, do you see me? I'm okay. But if you show yourself, you're going to wig them out. They're going to be in therapy, hide under their bed, under their blankets. It must be horrible being on the other side trying to, because if you move something, people are going to trip. Yeah. If you say something, they can hear you.
Or if sometimes people say, oh, but I got touched. It touched me. It has to be bad. They could have just been walking up to tap you on the shoulder or, whatever. Now, if it's a mean touch or whatever, then that might be different. But most of the ones I get are not friendly touches. I never get hugs. I always get scratched or my hair pulled or choked or pushed down steps or whatever. But it's not always like that. Sometimes they're just trying to get your attention, like, hey, or you could be in their way. They don't want to be bothered with you. Get out of my way. So you may feel a nudge or whatever.
Some people are talking about sleeps, whether they're having activity in their sleep. They don't know or is it a dream? Is it real? Can energy, spirit guides, anything from the other side, can they come to you while you're sleeping?
Absolutely, all the time. And they usually prefer to do that if you're not completely open yet, because it's less frightening for you and you're more relaxed at that time.
With all the different environmental influences between the sounds, the lights, all the stuff going on, your mind's racing up and down. And for those of you, I'm a real big fan of this, for those of you that can never find a way to go to sleep, because when you lay your head on the pillow, you're just still going 50 miles an hour. You're just thinking. Go out and ground yourself. The weather's here now. Go in your backyard so your neighbors don't think you're a nut or anything. Take your shoes off, take your socks off, put your feet literally on the dirt, on the grass, on the ground.
Absolutely.
And let yourself ground. And all you do is, it's a quick, short form of meditation where you close your eyes, envision. And a lot of this you'll learn is, a lot of it is envisioning things upstairs.
Because as silly as it sounds, that's how I train myself to open and close my channel. I envision that the top of my head has a flap on it.
Yep.
And when I need to open a channel because we're on a walk or I'm doing a read, I open that. And I envision the most brilliant, bright light coming down and coming into my head and into my body. And that energy allows me to pick up whatever. And then when I'm done, I close it and I'm done. That's it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I'm done.
I know some people that physically take signs and actually put a sign up on their nightstand or something. Shop is closed. I'm closed. Don't come, whatever. I mean,
I worked with a girl one time who she couldn't sleep without, she worked night shifts, so it's hard to sleep during the day. And she couldn't sleep without these, what do you call it?
I know what you're talking about.
The eye covers. Yeah. And on the front of the eye cover, it said, leave me alone.
Was that for her?
That was for her. She had abilities, and she said that really did help for spirit to leave her be when she was trying to rest or get some sleep.
So if you go out and if you're one of these people that do race a lot, like I said, go out, put your feet on the ground, Close your eyes, and you can do this in 20 seconds. You can do this in 5 minutes. Don't put a time to it. Just try to relax. Close your eyes, and with each breath as you're taking it in, you're picturing this white energy, this beautiful white energy coming in, filling you from your head and working its way down. At the same time, the brown, the used energy, spent energy is going into Mother Earth, letting her recycle it.
Yeah.
If you would just try that a couple of times in a week, I bet you will have some of
the
your
new
best
and out
sleep
the
you've ever
field.
had.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how well that can happen for you. And it's no meds. It's
Exactly.
great.
Exactly. It works.
More people are seeing your peeping Tom out here, so.
Then maybe John. John is not a neighbor. I don't have a neighbor on that side. That house is empty. John is one of the spirits that were here when I bought the place. One of the reasons why I bought the place. He's an older gentleman, and he was the original builder of this house. This house is 119 years old this year. It used to be an old farmhouse here. And he hangs around a lot. My dog has actually followed him from the kitchen straight through the dining room and out the front door, and then she just stands at the door and looks at it like, where did he go?
Where did he go?
Because the door is closed, So, but
Zira had a really good question because it does come up a lot. Do you think when kids have pretend friends that it could be a spirit?
absolutely, and I also believe that 99.9% of the time it's their guide.
You think it's the guide
Absolutely.
too? Okay.
Because
That's
I know
something I haven't learned.
when
See, I'm
I
learning
was a
something.
child, the very first spirit that I ever encountered as a child, I thought was an imaginary friend.
Right.
Because it came to me as a child. That it looked like another child, but I
Right.
knew other kids around me couldn't see it. I later found out as I got older that imaginary friend that I had is one of my guides.
So to answer your question, definitely possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people don't really know how to take it when it comes to their child, having a pretend friend or anything
Right.
like that. One of the things, if your child is old enough that they like to doodle a little bit,
Draw,
they don't have to be
yeah.
crazy old, but you want
Right.
to ask them to draw for you and ask them to draw their pretend friend. And what you're doing is you're looking for, most people don't have a crazy vivid imagination to tell you what the hair color is, the style, the glasses,
Especially
the
young
freckles.
children.
Right. If they start going into a lot of details in a picture or can describe them in a lot more details, there's somebody sitting in front of them that they're looking at that they're getting that from.
Absolutely.
So, but don't wig out about it. It doesn't mean that there's anything horrible either.
Right.
So,
No, not at all. It could be their guide that's there to help them, usually because that child has abilities, and the guide is there to help those abilities develop without the child being distracted from other things that it needs to learn before it's old enough to use the abilities. Do you understand? Does that make sense?
well, this year, let's talk about a case we had. We had a, not even a toddler, was he?
No, he wasn't even a child.
Um,
Very young.
the client had a lot of energy that was happening around the house, shadow people,
Yeah.
a lot of talking, a lot of shadow people, and just they would not leave. And so this is one of the cases I want to talk about because shadow people, everybody says, oh, they're
They're not
horrible.
always bad.
A lot of times it's an observation for some reason. And this child in particular had what was the biggest thing you knew about this child? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Energy level.
Oh yeah, that was off the charts. That was off the charts.
For just a baby to have the highest energy level she's ever experienced.
Yeah, this kid was like, when I meet someone else that has abilities, I can feel that. It's a specific type of energy that you feel. And once you feel it, you don't forget it. So you know when that person has abilities. When I got close to this child, for instance, when we go to Gettysburg, there's so much energy there that I vibrate. I literally vibrate. You can see my body vibrating.
Yes. It's not chills from shaking,
No,
it's a vibration.
I vibrate. When I got close to this child, I vibrated. I held him for just a couple of minutes and then handed him back to his mom. And for an hour after we left that house, I still felt that vibration. That's how much energy that little boy had.
Sean is awesome about trying to help debunk. We do have a roadway that comes past this side of the house. So as you see these windows back here behind us, do you realize there's a car that can come by? We've got one coming by now.
It went
So-
that way.
Another one coming by.
Yeah, we live on a very busy road.
I know some of you are more than likely definitely seeing one of her friends here. That's not a surprise, but we do try to debunk it as well. So do realize there are cars that go by over there. Thank you so much for throwing that out. Some people want to join a team really bad. And before, there was a lot of teams that just they wouldn't even think of even having a quote medium on their team, because there were fakes out there.
Yeah.
There were, and there are fakes out there. There's fakes in everything, unfortunately. There's people that just mess up things for others. But
then unfortunately, there are some teams, like the last one that I was with, which is what discouraged me from ever wanting to join a team again, that want a medium to be on their team just so they can use them as bait. They assumed that because I was a medium, spirit would be more attracted to me, so they could place me in a location by myself, which I don't like.
I like bait.
And then put cameras up and see what they could capture, or put voice recorders around me and see what they could capture. Well, that's not an investigation.
Right.
That's bait. The rest of the team sat in another room in a different part of the building, and I'm the only one that's walking through the dark with a flashlight trying to find this room they want me to sit in. And then they leave you there for hours in the dark. They think just because you're a medium and you see this stuff anyway, you won't be afraid. Bull.
Steve, thank you for joining us. Casey, yes, I did talk to your husband. I was going to send you a message. Casey is somebody who's local. She's followed us quite a bit,
Okay.
which is very awesome. I live in Keysville. That's where we're based out of, so it's pretty cool. Because I actually talked to her husband, in a week or two, we're going to do something very local, because he said you'd go ahead and go out with us, Casey. So going to make sure you go out into the field with us and get to experience things hands-on, and be fun for you. So say hi to you.
Way different when you're there live.
Tell your husband thank you, because if you're into this, he set it up. So we will be hooking up with you to take you out to the field with us. Going back to people that are not as either mobile or don't have the physical ability to do a whole lot of stuff out in the field, there are people in teams that have different roles. People that do research, you can do a lot more research from the computer side of it nowadays. Absolutely. Which is great. Most teams do not have enough people that are willing to just work on the computer and do research.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of people that get into this, majority of the people want to go out for the fun factor. They want to go out to new places and go, wow, I experienced this. They don't want to take the time that's really involved in doing a full investigation on our level. Their level is fine. If they just want to do fun, that's fine. But they do it across the board. So don't limit yourself. Try to make some contact with some teams. Put it out there. Hey, if you need somebody to just do research, if you need somebody to try to find you some locations, it will help you with an in to get with a team. But be respectful of whichever team you're with. Make sure where you stand, and make sure that you know what you can share with anybody else, or you can't share. And
always be respectful and very, very, very with the client's information.
Professional and
don't
confidential.
Yeah, don't put anything out there.
Nothing goes out.
You don't have in writing that you can put out there.
So Casey, I hope you're good with that. Thumbs up. Congratulations. Again, your husband ought to be saying thank you too. He's got good points off that one.
Yeah.
Being a paranormal investigator, I'm noticing anytime a car goes by, you see a reflection in the window. Could that be it?
Yeah.
Again, that's why we're putting it up there. It could be. Although we do have some very talented people, and they might be seeing something. I'm not saying they're not.
We do live on a really, really busy street, or really busy road here. It's actually a major throughway through a couple of different towns here. So there's always cars and big trucks going back and forth. There's a house on this side. There's a house on this side. Nobody lives in the house back here. It's been empty since we bought the place.
Maria and Seeker, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate you guys joining us as well.
Hi, guys.
Right now I'm going to try to go through here real quick, try to find some information. Again, if I miss your question, please throw it up there. Typically when I do lives, what I will do is over the next day or two, if I did miss a question, I typically go back through the entire live feed, and I'll actually go back and start answering those questions. So if you do see a question being answered a day or two later, that's where I'm going back through and just trying to follow up to make sure you got the answer. It's real big to us. That's why we do this. It's really, really important. I just passed something. I'll be right back to it. Oh, she's replying to Henny. My apologies. People get into conversations. I keep picking up bits and parts here and there. It's funny. We were talking about other people. Before we go to an investigation, Philip, like one person in particular, he's in Georgia. We're in Maryland. I'm in PA right now. So he can hit me up at any time and say, hey, do you have this happening? Do you have this
Right.
particular name going on with a particular investigation?
Yeah.
It's always neat how so many
It
people
all
can
ties
come from
in.
anywhere, and it does tie
It
in.
does. It all ties in. That's just how the magic of the universe works. Everybody has that thread.
We ever get a chance to go to England, we are absolutely going to Geneva. We will definitely be over there. Going back, Geneva, just since I saw your name, I know that you're one of the ones that had the issue where somebody would not read you. This is Janie Seeker, by the way. I'm sorry, this is Janie, our medium.
Hi, Seeker.
Sometimes people feel like you can take their energy. They call you vampires.
I've had people call me that many, many times.
Energy vampires, and it affects them really badly, where they really get seriously drained from it. Janie has had people sit there and say, "Oh, she's blocked us. She's trying to take."
I
our
really
energy.
don't do it on purpose. I don't know how
She
it
is
happens.
not focused on anybody on the computer. She doesn't
No.
care. She's focused where she's at the
Yeah.
moment, and she's in the moment. So people can misread things, and if you have a particular that type of energy, they might be misreading you also, Geneva.
Yeah.
Again, that's one of the things I do know is a reason why
Yeah.
some people will not do reads. I never finished answering that one earlier, so I want to make sure.
Yeah, because I've had people say that to me that I have never even noticed was there. It'd be in a location, I didn't even notice this person. They walk up to me an hour later, oh, it just felt like you drained my energy. Girl, I didn't even know you were there.
Hanny and Sheila, if you guys would ever come our way, we would definitely take you guys out on investigation. You know that.
Absolutely,
that's
that would be so much fun.
all the time. That is definitely open. Love to have you guys. We love investigating with everybody, and we've had a lot of teams that were, within 4 or 5 hours actually come and join up with
Yep.
us and go on investigations.
We have, and they were always really good ones.
They've been great, and we've gone to, like, if we have somewhere that's very popular, Shepherdstown, we do that. Of course, Ghost of Shepherdstown got that very popular. So we'll go out there, and then we'll have people that'll sit there and be off on the side, or be stalking through the bushes, and we're like, come on, it's okay. Have
the
some
last
fun.
one, when people just showed up,
That was kind of a surprise.
that was weird.
We did not expect that. We would love to go everywhere by far. Eventually, we're hoping to spread eventually to be able to go to some of these other locations.
One of these
but
days.
we'll see what happens. We'll get there. Tessa, thanks for being on. Again, we do have your, what is it behind you?
It's an oil burner, so you'll see that little mist behind me.
I did want to respond to somebody just now. Give me just a sec.
You go right ahead. I'm going to have Sean bring me a Halls.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sean, can you bring me one of those Halls cough drops, hon? I've been fighting a respiratory infection, guys. I don't want to start with the hack and gag fit.
No, it will come. You know that.
Yeah, we don't need that. That's not pretty.
Nick, thanks for being on with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, dear.
Everybody is welcome, and it doesn't matter, in all honesty.
Come here, Sean.
It doesn't matter what anybody's religion is. We don't push a particular religion. We have our own. So if you see crosses or anything else, but regardless of what your background is or what your beliefs are,
come here.
this is Sean. This is our bouncer.
Come here.
This is Janie's husband. he's creeping in.
This is my better half. He's usually always behind the camera, but this is Sean. When you hear Rob speak of Sean, this is Sean.
Hey, everybody.
He's our
Thanks,
bouncer that when things go sideways for us, unfortunately,
Yeah.
he can help get yourself
He
or
runs in and
somebody
gets
out.
them out. Well, he's supposed to come and help me get out. Usually, Rob's already got me by the arm or the waist, dragging me out the door. Our God love her, poor little Lindsay.
Oh, yes. She's
Bless
so
her
small,
heart.
but goodness, at least she got you, which is
Bless
great.
her heart. Yeah, because that was unexpected. I had no idea that was coming.
I'm sorry, I'm still playing catch up. Again, I want to go back over that real quick, what I just said. Your religious beliefs are completely yours. Everybody's religious beliefs are completely welcome on any of our pages. When we're doing a live investigation, and especially at a very negative location, anybody and everybody and whatever belief they bring to the table that can help a family get back to normal is more than welcome. We never say we took care of it all ourselves.
Right. Absolutely.
We honestly believe in the power of numbers. So
Yeah.
whatever you bring to it, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I honestly mean that from the bottom of my heart. That's very important. I don't judge anybody as long as your faith or belief is not hurting somebody.
Absolutely,
That's yours.
that's the way I feel.
Same thing for being a skeptic. You are more than welcome to disbelieve anything that we're putting out.
I love skeptics. Those are my favorite ones. Those are the best ones for me. It really is.
What is your vibe on seances? How do you feel about seances?
I've never done one. I don't really know how I feel about it. I've never really thought about it much. I guess because I've always done it differently. And everybody will do it differently for themselves. You'll find a way that's comfortable for you and how you pick it up and how you feel the energy will be completely different for you. But I've never done a seance. I've never been to a seance. I'm not saying I never would, but I've just never really thought about it much.
That's fine. If you don't have, you don't have to. The one thing you're not going to get out of us,
no.
The one thing you're not going to get out of us is you're not going to get a bunch of filler material. We're not going to throw a bunch of stuff. Just go ahead and say it.
No, absolutely not.
It's what we believe, what we've learned, and again, it's just our beliefs. You're welcome to have your own beliefs.
Yeah, and if you think he's straight up about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very point.
I'm very to the point. I don't intentionally hurt anyone's feelings or mean to intentionally upset anybody, but I have literally upset people because if I'm going to tell it like it is.
Like it
I
is.
don't care. I really don't care. If you want it, fine. If you don't, I don't give two shits.
That's pretty straight what way it goes, by all means. Cheryl, thank you for jumping on with us right now. Appreciate that.
Hi, Cheryl.
Somebody had a question. Salt lamps. What's your take on salt lamps?
I like them. I actually have several in my home. There's one right over there. I have another one upstairs in the guest room, and there's one in my room. I like them because they make my energy feel more at a level keel when I have them in the house. And I never knew that until I bought one and actually put it in the house. And I noticed that how I felt differently from the room where it was to the room where it wasn't. So I like them. Even when they're not turned on, I like them. And if I touch it, I can feel different. I feel the energy level out.
See, again, I don't feel anything. We have one. I didn't worry about it.
We know.
But then since then, Lisa's gotten one for the bedroom. Actually, two in the bedroom now. One in the bathroom, one in the bedroom. So she definitely, again, people with abilities definitely seem to be a little bit more in tune with it. There's nothing wrong with that.
It helps to level out your energy, which in turn will help level out things with your entire body, your relaxation, everything.
Trying to see if anything else was coming up. You sound like, hey, Janie, you're straight up and you say what you want to say.
I do. I absolutely do. And I don't do that to be offensive to anybody. And I don't do that to put on a show. What you see is what you get. I am who I am.
We talked about earlier where you can get a message coming to you. And so do you ever go up to a complete stranger?
Many, many, many times.
And
ask my husband.
If you don't, what happens again?
It doesn't leave me. It's like a recording that goes over and over and over and over and over, and it takes forever to get rid of it. I got enough going on in this head. I don't need to be bringing somebody else's stuff home with me.
Geneva was asking, does it feel amazing when you help someone?
It absolutely does. It does. That's the blessing part of it. The curse part of it is when you get the crap like we saw at the temple, or because he didn't see it.
I don't see it. I like it. It's great.
But that's the blessing part of it. That's the part of it that made me decide to want to learn to control it and learn to use it for something good. I always suppressed it. Like I said, I suppressed it. Didn't want anybody to know I could do it. I didn't want anybody to think I was crazy. People already assumed I was a little nutty, so I didn't want to add to that. But I was in a mall one time in the town that I grew up in. And it was just before Christmas. And before this, I had never given a live read to anybody. I'd never walked up to a stranger. None of that. And my daughter was little. She was maybe a year old at the time. And I only had her with me. I didn't have my son with me. He was with his grandfather. And I was doing last minute Christmas shopping. And every time I walked past this lady through this one particular aisle, we were in JCPenney, I'll never forget it. I got this really strong energy. And it was a young man, and he kept saying, please talk to my mom. And I just kept ignoring it. I thought, there is no way I can walk up to this complete stranger and tell her that I hear this kid that's saying you're his mom. What else was I supposed to give her? That's all I was getting, and I didn't want her to think I was stupid.
Right.
And so I went on about my business. I started to check out, and she had already checked out, and I saw her go out into the courtyard part of the mall. And when I came out, I heard him as if he were standing right next to me saying, you have to tell my mom, please walk up to my mom and just tell her. You don't even have to stand there. Just tell her and walk away. But tell her that I said, it's not worth it. Please don't do it. So at this point, I'm thinking, what the heck? What can it hurt? I'll just keep walking if she doesn't believe me and walk right out of the mall and don't ever have to think about it again. I walked up to this lady and I said, I'm so sorry to bother you. I don't know if you believe in this kind of thing or not. I'm not even sure if I still believe in it because this is the first time I've ever had to do it. But someone tells me that you're his mother. His name is Michael. He passed last year by his own hand, and he wants me to tell you, please don't do it. It's not worth it. I don't know what that means. I really don't care. I just know I have to tell you that. She immediately started to cry. She had absolutely no idea what you've just done. And I'm looking at her like, no, I really don't.
Right.
And she says, my son committed suicide last year, and he was my only child. I raised him on my own. He was 21 years old at the time. She said, I had fully planned on finishing my Christmas shopping tonight and going home, putting everything under the tree and leaving a note for my family and taking my own life. Because it's the first Christmas without him. She just couldn't bear it. I said, well, your son doesn't want you to do that. This woman wrote me letters for years after that. She stayed in touch with me. That's when I realized that what I can do can change someone's life. It can save someone's life. So then it became a thing where I was like, you know what? I don't care if it's embarrassing. I don't care where we are. I don't care what's going on. It's fine. I've been at funerals and given reads. I give it. I don't care how ridiculous it makes me look. It's not meant for me to look good. It's not meant for me to get recognition or what it's meant to. You have the gift to help that person. That's why you're getting that information. So I give it. And so far, it's always worked well.
It's happened since you've been on the team as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Same outcomes.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Sheilah's been feeling really connected to Gilson. Janie, why is it now that I'm more attached to Gilson? I can see things, know things about him, and I have no right to know.
You're probably connected to Gilson's energy, and that's probably because you watch him a lot. Gilson has a type of energy that if you don't disconnect, when I first met Gilson, I did that.
With Gilson?
Remember, I would say to you, I pick up this for Gilson and that for Gilson, and I don't know why I keep picking up stuff for Gilson. He has that type of, I call it magnetic energy, and I don't mean his personality. He does have a great personality, but he has the type of energy that kind of latches onto people. And it's not the type that drains you, it's just the type that helps you to, you can pick up on things with him so easy. How many times have I said to you, Rob, Gilson's going to be touched tonight? I just know he is.
Yep.
It's just Gilson's energy. I don't know. Everybody has a different energy, and his is that type. Go with it. Go with it if you want. If you don't want to go with it, then learn how to block that energy and close your channel and don't go with it. But I still have it when I'm around him sometimes. I have to consciously remind myself, block Gilson's energy, or I'm never going to be able to get through this walk.
Val, thanks for joining us. We appreciate
Hi, Val.
it. We've got, you all right for about another 20 or 30 minutes?
I'm fine if you are.
This is kind of a casual. We kind of decided to throw it
Kind of
on.
an
so
impromptu,
yeah. We haven't had, obviously you're 2.5 hours away, so we don't have you for the nighttime lives.
Right.
Daytime, same thing.
Right.
I do some daytimes from time to time. I haven't done any lately. My work,
But
I
even
work
if
at
I
night.
lived closer, I work day shift, he works night shift.
Right. So trying to be able to let people know what it's like from a medium's point of view about a lot of stuff that goes on with the paranormal. I think it's very, very important.
And it's a big help for me too, because I can't tell you how many hundreds of times I get hit up on Facebook asking questions about how does this work, or how do I know if I have disability, or how would I go about doing it if I wanted to learn to do this or do that. Now's your chance, guys.
Exactly. Seeker wanted to know which thoughts on paranormal hangovers. Paranormal hangover the day after, sometimes even a couple of days after, I actually call. We usually make contact with everybody, whether it's messenger or calls or whatever. We usually reach out to check on each other afterwards. What happens after an
You
investigation?
usually feel like you just ran a marathon.
You are so drained from every part of your body.
You literally feel like you've worked about an 85 hours that week.
It's amazing just how much it really does pull it out of you.
It drains the heck out of you. And everybody says, well, that's because you're up until 2 or 3 in the morning at the investigation. No, sweetheart, because I have insomnia. I'm up till those hours of the night anyway.
All the time.
And I don't feel that drained unless we're on an investigation, then I do.
Seeker, appreciate that. Seeker's saying, hey, if you can help people doing your own thing, then do it. And I think I'm very big on pushing for her to go ahead and actually do reads, because she does get a lot of incredible information. It's not something that, like, if you do reads, there's no guarantee who's going to come through. It's whatever is meant to come through.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to always be the straight shooter. I'll tell you what I get, good, bad, or indifferent.
So if you want your cousin Bob, and gosh forbid anybody has a cousin Bob that I'm talking about right now, it's merely accidental because it's me saying it, not her. If you have a cousin Bob you're trying to get in contact with, it doesn't mean that you can pick up the phone to any medium, psychic, or whatever. Some of them will tell you they can put you in touch with them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Janie is not going to tell you that.
Nope.
She's going to tell you honestly what comes through to her. So
I've actually had people say to me, well, everything you just gave me is absolutely spot on, but I really want to talk to my grandma. Well, I'm sorry, honey, she don't want to talk to you.
You're
or
not
she'd
making
be
a phone
here.
call.
If she had something that was important for you to know, she would be here. But I have had people say that to me.
Yes.
I've also had people say, well, how can my grandma or my husband or my son or whoever, how can they be telling you those things? How did you know those things? They're in heaven. I know they went to heaven. No, they didn't. Because they talking to me.
So every Thursday night, some of our teammates go ahead, and I used to do it as well. We were doing lives. Every Thursday at 7 o'clock on our page, we do a live. So if you ever miss it, by all means, check them out. It's worth seeing by far. Our page itself, if you have any questions that don't get answered either on here, or you have questions that are more personal you don't want to ask on a public forum, the simplest way is to go ahead and message us.
Yeah.
My phone number is actually also connected to the page. The easiest way to go ahead and get my response is send a text. Do not simply just call, because there's so many calls.
Exactly.
And how many of you guys get about your auto insurance?
Yeah, you want
Or
to buy a subscription of this magazine or that magazine.
health, whatever. It's not even people for the paranormal, unfortunately. It's all kinds of of calls.
Please,
So,
the only thing I don't
text.
want is what I've been getting the past couple of weeks. I don't know where these people are coming from, but it's like the last couple of weeks they've been coming out of the woodwork. I am not the one to call if you just want to know if your husband or your wife is cheating. If you suspect that, then your relationship's already messed up. You don't need me to tell you that.
Can you let me know if my mom is okay, and does she have anything to tell me or let me?
What's this person's name?
Tessa. Again, if something comes through right now while we're
What's
doing
with the sweater, Tessa? Is there something significant about a sweater?
if something comes through in general, she'll put it out there while she's live.
Yeah,
we don't usually have her actually channel while we're doing it, but Tessa, if there's something about a sweater that you know anything
There's
about.
something about a sweater, and there's something about a ring. I'm not sure what it means.
Any color to the sweater? Anything you see in particular about
It's a dark color. I'm not sure what color, but it's a dark color. Something about a sweater or something about being cold. I don't know what that means. She just shows me herself holding a sweater like this, and there's something about a ring.
And when mediums are getting information, unfortunately, they don't have somebody whispering in their ear specific details.
Yeah, some of them may be getting a full-fledged dialogue, but I get bits and pieces.
People will get, whether it's a picture that comes through to them, and they'll see like the sweater. The sweater could represent she was always cold and always wore a sweater.
I don't know, but she shows me a sweater in dark color, and she keeps saying something about a ring. I don't know what that means.
So again, in this case, Tessa, you'll have more information about that, hopefully. If it's applying to somebody else, we have a lot of people on right now. We'll see what the deal is.
And I wonder if there was something with, I don't even know if it's for Tessa now, since I opened a channel, I could be picking up for anybody, but there was something with her shoulder, Tessa. Her right shoulder.
I asked the same thing. What color? Tessa's asking what color.
I'm not sure what the color is. I
Number
just
one,
see it as a dark colored sweater.
Did she typically have a sweater? That's one of the easiest questions.
Right.
So
I have no idea why I pick up these little clues here and there. I just know I do.
all right. So far, you got a sweater and something about a ring.
Something
Tessa.
about a ring, and I feel something on my right shoulder. I'm not sure if it has to do with the shoulder or the right lung, but something to do with the right side.
Now, there's about a 20 second, 25 second delay. So when we're talking, we're waiting to see the responses come through so we can see what's up. Is it a mother ring? And yes, she was always cold. And so was my daughter.
It would have been a ring with small stones in it, and I see more than one stone. I'm thinking 3, maybe even 4, or more even. It was just a ring with a bunch of smaller stones. So it could have been a mother's ring, yeah.
She had lung cancer.
Okay, right side would either be in the lung or in the shoulder. Okay,
You did say lung, so.
yeah.
Um,
She is okay. So you know she's okay. When we leave this body, we leave all of that mess here.
so Maria, for you as well, you talked about your father died 10 years ago. And the day he died, you weren't by his side, anything about your father. When they get to the other side, they know what that you were, they knew you cared about them. I mean, all of our little squabbles we have.
What people don't understand, and this doesn't matter what religion you are from, what walk of life you come from, when we leave this world, the only thing we take with us are our feelings and the feelings that others made us feel. If you made that person feel like they were loved in life, they're going to know when they cross over that you love them. That doesn't die. That doesn't go away. That doesn't leave. You take that with you.
So Tessa, I hope you take that for you. Lori, thanks for being on. Lori was on. She's saying she smells his aftershave, her dad who had passed.
Her dad's aftershave?
Yeah. So she wanted to know whether or not he was hanging out.
Is there a reason why your dad would be hanging out, and this sounds a little odd, in the backyard?
Henny wanted to know, have you ever helped with any law enforcement agency in a case like with a missing person?
No, I've not helped law enforcement with a missing person, no.
Not yet.
Not yet. No, I have not. I've helped with missing objects before. Not law enforcement, but people would say, my relative, whatever, passed away, and we've been looking for this, or this, and we could never find
Right.
it. Do you know where it may be? And I have helped to locate wills and pieces of jewelry and things like that.
What about pets? Have you ever come across any pets when you
Oh,
do
yeah.
this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm terrified of cats. I hate cats. They scare me to death. And we were at that one house where Freddie took us, and I kept seeing that cat in that room, and I was like, Rob, I'm telling you, this woman's got cats up here. She was like, no, but I always feel something rub my leg. I don't own a cat, but I've always like, there's a cat in there.
She is terrified about cats.
Oh, cats and spiders.
That is I am about spiders, she is of cats, in all sincerity.
Mm.
Feels like he's watching her. That was as far as for the backyard.
Okay.
So we're going to be on for, let's do about 11 more minutes. So we'll be on for an hour and 40 minutes at that point. We're going to cut off in about 11 minutes. So if you have questions, that's fine. Certainly feel free to throw them out there. Again, we are going to put more postings up on our page about her, Janie being able to go ahead and start doing reads.
Yeah.
She'll start doing the readings. They'll be $25.
Yeah.
Right now, just simply message us on our page, and we'll have her get in touch with you. Between the two of you guys can take care of it from there. But it's always interesting. I know what I see all the time. So if you're going to get a read from her, please, what we're asking for is get a piece of paper. You're going to need it.
Yeah, because sometimes it comes through really, really fast. Rob will even make me
Yes.
carry a voice recorder
Yes.
because it's so hard
Yes.
to keep up. It comes through so fast. So have a piece of paper so that you can write things down as I give it to you. And that way you don't forget them later in case they don't make
Yep.
sense to you right now, because some people are so geared up when they're in the moment that none of it, they'll say, well, none of that makes any sense. And then the second the read is over and everybody calms down and we're just having a normal conversation, or you may even be off doing your own thing, then you'll get it. Oh my God, I know what that meant. Or, oh my God, that's where that comes from. Or you may even speak to a relative the next day and they say, well, of course, I know this person or that person. Then it makes sense. So write it all down. Because I honestly will not remember all of it weeks or days later.
Heather says she's definitely getting a read. She wants to know something about her grandfather and cousin. Lori wants to make sure that she knows her dad, hopes her dad realizes that she took really good care of him.
Believe me, he knows, sweetheart.
Yes, your little furries are fur babies do run around. I've actually been pushed. Back of my legs have been pushed by. Everybody started laughing because they knew they had.
Well, we've heard a dog bark. We've heard animals before.
Absolutely.
Locations where there were not animals. Well, there were, but they couldn't hear to see them. Which still blows me away every single time because it's so clear for me. I'll be looking at Rob like, there is absolutely no way you can't hear that.
You can record when she's on the phone with you. You do not
Absolutely.
have a problem with recording.
Absolutely.
You can definitely record it. It's definitely the best way to go ahead and do it.
Yep.
Like Janie said, I usually give her a recorder and just put it in her hand and say go, because there's so much that comes through at certain times. If she's not getting anything, she's not going to make anything up for you at that point.
I won't.
She's just going to tell you what's coming through.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to reiterate that there's no, hey, let's just go ahead and burn up a few minutes on the phone to make you feel good.
Yeah,
If it's not there, it's not there.
I won't do that.
Done.
And if I get nothing, you won't be charged. I'm not going to charge anybody for a read that they don't get anything from. So
just realize that, by all means, ahead of time, have a recorder, which is great, or you can record on your phone, which is perfectly fine, or some paper so that you can take the notes, because you will get information.
Yeah.
Some will be that you'll know what it is, and there are going to be other pieces that you might not know right offhand. You might have to check with somebody in your family, but you'll find out exactly what's happening.
yes.
Yes, Lisa was actually petting a cat. I remember that. She was actually petting a cat.
Yeah.
The K2 would go off. Different things would happen every time this cat would pass under her hand. It was crazy. I guess anyone can come through, but sometimes we want a certain person to come through and they might not want to. That is a very accurate embarrassment.
Yeah.
There is a lot of people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Embarrassment for people on the other side, a lot of times they're embarrassed about their actions and they do not feel like stepping up. They do not feel like they want to face you at that time.
Yeah. And some have been recycled. I'm sorry, but that's just how it works. I mean, I've had people say to me, well, I just want to know that my grandma's okay. And I immediately hear my guide say, they came back. So I call it recycled. They've been reincarnated. Grandma's not there. She can't tell me something. She's not there. I don't know if you'll cross paths with her in your lifetime, as this other person she's came back as, but my guide tells me that she's been reincarnated. Her soul's been reused. So I can't connect with grandma. She's not there. They don't get that, because a lot of people will believe in this aspect of it, but they don't believe in that aspect.
They don't want to believe in the other.
Exactly.
And again, we're all guilty of putting blinders on. We want to set rules to everything.
Yeah. I did it for years with my abilities.
It's the paranormal field. We're the ones The living are the ones that are putting the boundaries to it. There's not the boundaries that we believe to
Yep,
exist. I mean, we've had
absolutely.
spirits that have been in Georgia and in a second later
Blink of an
where we
eye.
were at in PA at the time. You know, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Sheila, good point that you're bringing up, Sheila, and you're not the only one to bring this up. Why can't I read anything about myself, but I can others?
I have never, Sheila, if I could read things about myself,
You're
I
not
would
meant to
have
know that.
hit the lottery
You're not
already.
meant to know it.
Yeah, I never pick up anything for myself. I've read my husband several times. He gets away with nothing. Nothing. But I can absolutely not pick up anything for myself. I don't know why. I don't question it. It is what it is.
Wendy, glad to have you on. Thank you so much. Haven't seen you for a little bit. Janie, have you moved spirits to the light? Has that been something you've done?
You know how I feel about this. Everybody has their own beliefs, like Rob says, and
Yep.
we respect one another's beliefs.
Yep.
Believe me, Rob and I are like brother and sister. I love this man with all my heart, and I know he feels the same way about me. And there are times when, like brother and sister, we want to just kill each other.
Yeah. What's that?
But we respect one another's beliefs. I leave that aspect of it up to the team because I was raised in the Southern Baptist belief. And I mean Southern, honey, fire and brimstone. But where I come from, we were taught that is up to God. If God wants them to cross over, he will send someone to get them. It's not my job to do that, and I just don't feel comfortable doing it and wouldn't know how to even if I did. So I leave that up to the team and to the client. That's their choice, and Rob's apparently good at doing it. I've seen him do it, and I know spirit is there 1 minute and not when he's done. So because I can see him and hear him, so I leave that up to them. I don't dabble with that. Just like I don't mess with bad mojo. I leave that up to them also. If I spot a demon or I see something creepy, I'm like, there it is. I'm out.
It's fair. You know, you
I
just
don't
gotta find where they're at.
That's it.
And we go with it.
I show him where it's at and tell him what it is, and then I'm gone.
I'm a big firm believer as far as to, you know, we all have, just because we don't have the ability to know something ahead of time, I still think that, like as a team, and we've done it live where we've moved people on.
Yeah.
And I'm a real big believer in that. We wouldn't be put
I
in that
know they
position
can
if
do
not.
it. I just won't do it because I don't believe that it's up to me to do it.
Completely understand and agree and
Right.
respect that very much. So, you know, there's a lot of people that get worried about whether or not their loved ones are stuck or people are stuck in certain locations and stuff. And the activity completely changes when it's happening.
We just did one recently.
The emotional experience from it is
Phenomenal.
the most incredible peace, I guess you would say peace you could ever, euphoria, peace. There's no crazy mind bending, you know, like some people would have on drugs or anything, but just how good you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You feel so whole at that one particular moment.
Yeah.
Once that happens, I mean, I like to say that none of us have dealt with the onions or anything, but we have, because some of them have been crazy emotional.
That's the feeling. It's a perfect way to describe the feeling. That's the feeling I get when I give message from spirit. Can you imagine being on the other side for probably 20, 30, even 50, 100 years, and you want to say something to somebody, to a family member or a loved one or, you know, whatever, and there's no phone, there's no intercom for you to push, and then you finally come in contact with somebody like myself that can see you and hear you and get your message to that person. And then when I give it, it's like I feel the relief that they feel. I feel the happiness that they feel because they were finally able to talk to that loved one. They didn't get to say these things before they passed or whatever. That's the feeling I get. That's why I do it.
Exactly. I mean, that when you actually experience that and you know what you just brought, rather it's a living or somebody on the other side, you just can't stop that feeling. It's addictive. You want to do it again. Yes.
Yep.
Real quick, Wendy, congratulations on your 3rd place in the Special Olympics.
Congratulations.
Glad to hear that. That's awesome. Great job. We're going to get ready to get off here. We've only got another minute or two we're going to stay on for. We will be getting off here in just a couple of minutes. Lisa, that's my wife. Thank you so much for backing me up and helping me answer a lot of questions. I sincerely appreciate that very, very much. I really appreciate all y'all's time. It's been great by far. If you want to read, again, right now, contact our page. All you got to just go on, send us a quick message on our page, and I will put you in touch with Janie so you guys can set it up. Fantastic person by far. You'll really enjoy it. Again, recorder is fine. If you can record on your phone, that's perfectly fine. She doesn't mind.
No, not at all.
If not, then at least have a paper and pen and be ready to write, because things do come up really, really quick.
Yeah.
Do not lead her. Let her tell you.
Absolutely. The only thing I
confirm.
ask when you contact me is your first name. That's all I need to know.
Real quick, Seeker was asking, do we use the glass on table? Yes or no? Answers
No, I
and
don't.
messages. No, we do not, Seeker. Quite honestly, we've never done that so far.
I don't.
Are the spirits surprised that you can see and hear them, Janie?
Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Some of them are. Some of them are ticked off because I can see and hear them. The guy.
That's when you get attacked. You're more likely to get attacked when they know that they can. Sometimes when you go to a negative location, you get attacked most on the team.
Oh yeah.
Because you can see or hear. That's a vulnerability.
Yeah.
And so you're the first one they try to take out.
Mm-hmm.
And they have.
Oh yeah.
You've gone unconscious at locations.
Absolutely. I've
instantly.
been choked. Absolutely. Been standing there talking to Lindsay 1 second and on the floor the next. So yeah.
Definitely want to say thank you very much, Janie, for jumping on and
Thank
doing
you
this
for
live
coming
interview.
up here and doing this. Yeah.
It's been fun. And again, Janie is not one to be in front of a live camera. She prefers usually to be back and just doing her thing and seeing what she picks up and what she sees or feels or senses or anything like that. So appreciate all y'all's time. If you do have a child or you're going through something and you want some extra advice, it's okay. Message us. Janie has the time. She'll go ahead and message you back as well. There's
Absolutely.
4 of us that message. We're always in contact. And again, we just do it to help other people.
We do.
That's
Absolutely,
really what
we
our
do.
golden point is to help others, whether they're on this side or the other side. And everybody that's on, your belief is your belief. Have it, keep it. It's perfectly fine. Nobody's going to change that.
No.
Nobody's going to try to change that.
Absolutely not.
So with that, again, I will try to go back through everything and catch up on anybody's questions I miss. Thank you so much. I got 35 more questions and all of a sudden, 35 more comments all of a sudden come blasting through. So sorry, we're going to have to get off here. We are signing off, but thank you so much for being on with us.
Thanks, guys.
We're out of here. Appreciate it.